morning and welcome to the Morning Expresso by the Indian Express. My name is Rahil Philippos and let's get you started with the day's big story. In New Delhi's sharpest message to Moscow, India abstained from voting on a resolution which led to Russia's suspension from the UN Human Rights Council over reports of abuses in Ukraine. This despite Russia warning countries that a yes vote or abstention will be viewed as an unfriendly gesture with consequences for bilateral ties. The Indian Express has learned that Russia's envoy Denis Alipov had reached out to top Indian diplomats to vote in its favor. Next up are our stories exclusive to the Indian Express. The Ukraine crisis can push BRICS together with the aim of becoming a real alternative to the West, write Soumya Kanti Ghosh and Bikramjeet Chowdhury. You can read their opinion on the IndianExpress.com website. Now let's move on to our stories from the front page. The demand for tourism in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in the ongoing summer travel season is 4 times what was witnessed pre-pandemic, travel agencies said, adding that the increased number of direct flights to Srinagar in addition to the UT's tourism department initiatives are drawing travelers there. Allowing rights activist and chair of Amnesty International India board Akar Patel to travel to the United States, a Delhi court has directed the CBI to withdraw a lookout circular issued against him. It also asked the CBI director to issue a written apology to Patel, stating that this will go a long way in upholding the trust of the public in the premier institution. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann appealed to the Shiromani Gurdwara Parbandhak Committee to allow the installation of advanced broadcast technology at the Golden Temple to beam the Gurbani live globally. The Akali-dominated SGPC, however, asked him to focus on running the government and not meddle in religious affairs. A group of 40 men were protesting outside a police station in Madhya Pradesh's Siddhi district against the arrest of a theatre artist in a case relating to defaming a BJP MLA. However, after a photo of 8 of the men, including a YouTuber, stripped down to their undergarments at the police station went viral, the police have launched an internal inquiry into the incident. Now for today's must-read stories. It's rare for any country that's the largest producer and exporter of a product to experience domestic shortages of the same product, so much so as to force the government to introduce price controls and curbs on shipments. But that's precisely the story of Indonesian palm oil. The US Department of Agriculture has estimated that Indonesia's palm oil production for 2021 to 22 stands at 45.5 million tons. That's almost 60% of the total global output. Yet the country has seen domestic prices of branded cooking oil spiral. We explain why. The Mumbai police registered an FIR against BJP leader Kirit Somaiya, his son Neil Somaiya and others for alleged cheating and criminal breach of trust linked to the collection of funds of up to Rs 57 crore meant for restoring the decommissioned aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. The allegations against Somaiya were first made by Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut, who claimed that the BJP leader invested the funds in his son's construction committee instead of depositing it with the Maharashtra governor as promised. When Russia first invaded Ukraine, the country's aviation industry was heavily sanctioned by the West, which resulted in the suspension of flight services operated by European and American carriers. At the same time, Air India was one of the only airlines still flying in Russia. Now the Tata Group-owned airline has suspended its flight from Delhi to Moscow after international insurance underwriters warned that its flights landing in Russia would not be valid for insurance given the threat perception there on account of the war. And finally, Delhi Capitals had nothing in the tank against Lucknow supergiant spinners after Prithvi Shaw's initial blitz and Quinton de Kock's 80-set LSG on course for a 6-wicket victory. In the 45 deliveries for which DC's fresh opening pair of David Warner and Shaw was in the middle, Warner faced a total of 11 balls in which he scraped 4 runs. This complete absence of rhythm was to mark the rest of the DC innings. And that's all for today's Morning Expresso. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe to the Indian Express's YouTube channel for the latest news updates.